From purposely disrespectful behavior that tears players down, to golf pros doing the absolute worst things imaginable. These are the most humiliating moments in golf history, the kind that would make even the toughest players want to cry. When you've got 12 feet between you and your first major championship, the hard part's supposed to be over. All that's left is a putt. But maybe that's the really hard part. Dustin Johnson stood on the 72nd hole of the 2015 U.S. Open at Chambers Bay with an eagle putt to win it all. Make it, and he's a U.S. Open champion. 2-putt, and he forces a Monday playoff with Jordan Spieth. Simple math. He ran his eagle attempt 4 feet past the hole. Still manageable. Except here's the thing about Johnson. He ranked 159th on tour in putting inside 6 feet. His weakness was about to become everyone's problem. The greens at Chambers Bay were awful all week, bumpy like putting on broccoli, but that doesn't explain what happened next. Johnson stepped up to a 4-footer that thousands of weekend golfers make without thinking, and he missed, completely. 3 putts from 12 feet, on the final hole. To lose the U.S. Open, Spieth won by 1 stroke, becoming the first player since Bobby Jones to birdie the 72nd hole and win the U.S. Open by a shot. Johnson just stared into the distance, watching his first major slip away in complete silence. I don't know what's worse, just embarrassing yourself in a round, or doing it and trying to blame someone else. Even worse, blaming the very people who are paying you. Bryson DeChambeau was grinding through the 2021 Open Championship at Royal St. George's when things went bad fast. He managed just 4 of 14 fairways in his opening round, shooting 1 over 71. Frustration was building with every wayward drive. When reporters asked him about it afterward, he didn't hold back. If I can hit it down the middle of the fairway, that's great, but with the driver right now, the driver sucks, DeChambeau said. 3 words that would haunt him. The driver sucks. What's the problem, you ask? Well, the problem is that the driver was made by Cobra, his sponsor. Bryson forgot that you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Ben Showman, Cobra's tour operations manager, told the media it was just really painful when he says something that stupid. He compared DeChambeau to an 8-year-old that gets mad at you and said everyone at the company was bending over backwards trying to build him the perfect driver. DeChambeau eventually apologized, calling his comments very unprofessional and admitting he was the one who sucked that day, not his equipment. But the damage was done. 1 bad round, 1 terrible quote, and suddenly everyone knew exactly how not to handle sponsor relations. But speaking of blaming someone, here goes a case where it is pretty much justified. The caddy has one job: carry the bag, read the greens, and don't break anything. Pretty straightforward stuff. And at the 2014 Wells Fargo Championship, Josh Svensson was doing just fine until he tripped and went down hard with Chesson Hadley's bag on his back. Actually, this is it in slow motion.
When and how it happened.
Yes, John, it's bent in the area where the bend is.
Svensson later described his fall as going down like a sack of potatoes. Luckily, our guy came out unscathed, but we can't say the same about the putters when it was time to make the shot. The shaft was bent, like visibly crooked. This was Hadley's Odyssey White Hot XG 2-ball, a putter he'd used for 6 or 7 years, including his recent win at the Puerto Rico Open. His most trusted club was now a twisted piece of metal. Oh, and it happened right on the 10th hole, meaning Hadley had half a round left to play. Rules officials confirmed he could keep using it since the damage wasn't intentional, but the bend had added loft to the putter face. Every putt would roll differently now. I mean, look at it. Somehow Hadley managed to birdie that very hole, 2-putting from the fringe with his mangled flat stick that looked like it belonged in a junkyard. How embarrassing. But even more humiliating than playing with a crooked club is having what no one, absolutely no one, wants to happen when you take your swing. Lee Westwood found himself in exactly that situation during the 3rd round of the 2013 Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. His ball was wedged right up against a tree on the 1st hole, leaving him virtually no room to swing. At that point in the tournament, he'd been playing solid golf, chasing leaders Sergio Garcia and Tiger Woods without a single hole over par. So Westwood did what any pro would do. He went for it. He took a massive, wild hack at it, and he missed the ball entirely. Boof! A complete whiff. The ball sat there untouched like it was mocking him. Apparently, his club smacked the tree on the way down instead. That's why he looks back at it. So, yeah, blame it on the tree. At the end, Westwood went on to double bogey the hole, and just like that, his flawless round was toast. But hey, at least he gave us this moment to laugh. But honestly, the best humiliations in golf are not the ones where you mess up. They're the ones where your opponent makes you look like you don't belong on the same course. At the 1997 Mercedes Championships at La Costa, heavy rain washed out the final round, forcing Tiger Woods and Tom Lehman into a sudden death playoff on the par 3 7th hole. Lehman was the reigning Open champion and Player of the Year. Tiger was 21 years old. Lehman went first. His 6-iron ballooned in the wind and dove straight into the water hazard fronting the green. Done. Finished. All Tiger had to do was play conservative, find the green somewhere, anywhere, make 2 putts, and walk away with the win. Instead, Tiger decided to twist the knife. He stepped up, ripped a 6-iron from 186 yards through the rain and gloom, and nearly holed it. The ball landed a foot from the cup and spun back to just 8 inches away. A tap-in birdie that was not just a win, but a statement. Lehman could only watch with his heart broken. See, the truth is, Tiger didn't need to do that. He could have played it safe. But prime Tiger Woods didn't do safe. He went for the flag in brutal conditions with water everywhere and made it look effortless. Next up, winning one week and falling apart the next is golf in its purest form. But when the collapse happens on one green, oh, it hits different. Brooks Koepka came into the 2015 Farmers Insurance Open riding high after winning the Waste Management Phoenix Open the week before. Everything was clicking, his confidence was sky high. Then came Friday's second round at Torrey Pines. Koepka reached the par 5 18th hole in 2 shots and had a legitimate look at eagle to close things out. This should have been the easy part. 2 putts for birdie, maybe drain the eagle if he's feeling it. Standard stuff for a guy who just won on tour. But well, that's not what happened there. What happened was 1, 2, another again. And finally, he needed 5 putts from there, each one worse than the last, building into a crescendo of putt misery that everyone watching couldn't look away from. What should have been a routine birdie turned into a double bogey 7. From eagle range to disaster in less than 5 minutes. One week, you're hoisting a trophy. The next, you're reminding every golfer on earth that this game will humble anyone, anytime, anywhere. Next up, one of the most brutal collapses you'll ever see. Because sometimes the pressure doesn't just get to you, it completely destroys you. Mito Pereira stood on the 18th tee at the 2022 PGA Championship at Southern Hills, needing just a par to win his first major. He had a 1-shot lead over Justin Thomas and Will Zalatoris. He'd led by 3 at the start of the day. The tournament was his. All he had to do was find the fairway, hit the green somewhere safe, and make 2 putts. Even a bogey gets him into a playoff. But his drive went straight into the creek running across the fairway. Just like that, everything changed. Pereira's dream started sinking faster than his golf ball. It took him 3 more shots just to reach the green. Every stroke was pure agony. Each step toward that green heavier than the last. He was scrambling now, desperately trying to salvage something, anything from the wreckage. Double bogey. 1 shot out of the playoffs. The Wanamaker Trophy was right there, practically in his hands, and then it was just gone. He wasn't the champion making history anymore, more like the guy who had it all and let it slip away on the biggest stage in golf. Up next, embarrassing yourself once in a tournament is bad enough, but doing it twice, on the same hole, that's a whole different level of humiliation. Rory McIlroy had a serious problem with the 12th hole at Cherry Hills Country Club during the 2014 BMW Championship, a 204-yard par 3. And when we say problem, we mean the kind that haunts you in your sleep. In Saturday's 3rd round, McIlroy pitched to just 4 feet, 5 inches on the 12th, and needed only 1 putt to save par. Easy, right? Wrong. First putt, missed. Second putt, missed again. Third putt, still not in. Fourth putt, finally triple bogey from inside 5 feet. The hole was practically laughing at him at this point. The disaster knocked him out of the final group and left him 9 shots behind the leader heading into Sunday. McIlroy probably spent all Saturday night telling himself it wouldn't happen again. He swore it wouldn't happen again. But Sunday comes around and he 4-putted the exact same hole again. Double bogey this time, but still, 4 putts on a par 3, twice, in back-to-back rounds. The 12th hole at Cherry Hills became McIlroy's personal torture chamber that week, and everyone was watching it. Next up, sometimes in golf, one player embarrasses themselves. Other times, one player embarrasses their opponent. But what Tiger Woods did at the 2000 US Open at Pebble Beach, he humiliated the entire field at once. Runners-up Ernie Els and Miguel Angel Jimenez finished at 3 over par. Tiger was 12 under. He was the only player in the entire field to finish under par. Think about that. The second best players in the world couldn't even break even, and Tiger was cruising at double digits under. By the time Sunday rolled around, Woods had a 10-stroke lead. The tournament was already over. Everyone knew it. Els knew it. He said before the final round that he had no chance. And he was right. Woods won by 15 strokes. 15 shots better than everyone else. He broke old Tom Morris's record from 1862, a record that had stood for 138 years, and remains the largest margin of victory in major championship history. All because Tiger was playing a completely different sport while everyone else struggled to keep up. Pure, unfiltered domination that left the entire field wondering what just happened. Next up, a humiliation that's even worse than choking under pressure. At least when you choke, it's honest. But what happened to Patrick Reed at the 2021 Farmers Insurance Open is a different story entirely. During Saturday's third round at Torrey Pines, Reed hit his approach shot on the 10th hole into thick rough. TV cameras caught his ball clearly bouncing before settling into the grass. Reed walked up to his ball. He picked it up and marked it before calling over a rules official. Then came the part that made everyone watching lose their minds. He told the official, not once but twice, that his ball hadn't bounced. He claimed it was embedded and took a free drop. The rules official accepted his word for it, but millions of people had just watched it bounce on live television. In high definition, the replays showed it plain as day. Reed went on to win the tournament by 5 shots. As he walked up the 18th hole on Sunday, fans on balconies screamed, "Captain America," followed immediately by "Fouling cheater." The PGA Tour said everything was handled properly. His fellow players? Not so much. The talk among them wasn't great, because everyone saw what happened. Reed humiliated himself on the biggest stage, and the worst part? He knew the cameras were there, and he did it anyway. Coming in next. Now, let's watch this guy who decided to wade into a lake and fight physics itself. Yeah, that was Woody Austin's exact strategy. Why? Well, at the 2007 President's Cup at Royal Montreal, Austin found his ball submerged in a greenside pond at the 14th hole during the second day 4-ball session. Instead of taking the drop like a normal human being, he rolled up his pants, stepped into the water, and went full hero mode. His club hammered a rock instead of the ball. Then everything went sideways. Literally. Austin lost his balance on the follow-through and went face first into the pond, his head disappearing under the surface for several seconds. It was pure chaos. Hat floating, glasses gone, completely drenched while the entire golf world watched a professional golfer take an unintentional swim on international television. Now let me tell you the insane part. Austin made 8 birdies that afternoon, carrying his partner David Toms to a tie against Trevor Immelman and Rory Sabatini. Then on Sunday, he walked onto the 14th tee wearing scuba goggles, an idea from Barbara Nicholas and his caddy. Aquaman was born. He finished with a 1-1-3 record and earned 2.5 points for the winning U.S. team. The fall became legendary. The resilience? Honestly, just as impressive. But nobody remembers that part, just the splash. For this next one, let's revisit another nightmare where pros can't sink a putt no matter how many times they try. At the 2005 Nashua Masters in South Africa, Henny Otto stood on the 12th hole, a par 5, with a makeable putt for par. Simple enough, except nothing about what happened next was simple. He missed it left. Frustration bubbled up immediately. Then he missed again, and again. After missing by just a hair, Otto started carelessly slapping at the ball with his putter head, like he'd stopped caring whether it dropped or not. The competitive fire had turned into pure rage. 5 more putts later, 6 total, he finally got the ball in the hole and walked away with a 10. A 10. On a par 5 where he'd already reached the green in regulation. It was totally ridiculous, and everyone was in shock. The entire golf world watched a Tour Pro experience what looked like a weekend hacker's worst round. 6 putts from a guy who makes his living with a putter. That's one of the worst humiliations one can face there in the greens. Next up, for the ultimate humiliation of today, guess who's the killer? Yeah, Mr. Tiger Woods again. At the 2000 PGA Championship at Valhalla, Bob May had just forced Tiger Woods into a 3-hole playoff after shooting 66, 66, 66 over the final 3 rounds. The journeyman finally had his moment. He'd gone toe-to-toe with the best player on the planet and survived 72 holes. All he had to do was win 3 more. On the first playoff hole, the par 4 16th, Woods drained a 25-foot birdie putt. Then he did something that burned into May's soul. He chased the ball toward the hole with his finger pointed, basically telling May and the world, "This is over." May scrambled to stay alive, but the writing was on the wall. On the final playoff hole, Woods yanked his tee shot left into trouble, the ball briefly disappearing before mysteriously reappearing and bouncing down a cart path onto hardpan. Lucky break or not, Tiger capitalized. May's birdie putt on 18 slid just past the hole. Woods won by 1 stroke, claiming his 3rd consecutive major championship. May had played the best golf of his life for 4 straight days. He'd battled the greatest player in the world shot for shot until the very end. And Tiger still beat him. Bob May had to watch someone else celebrate with the trophy.